this video we'll be doing percent problems 2.3 and 2.4. And our essential question for today will be, how do I solve percent problems? So there's two different methods, and I want you to choose the best method for yourself. Some of us will gravitate towards method 1, and some of us will gravitate towards method 2. You do not have to do both. Just choose the one that you like the best, and then we'll solve. So when we're solving these using method 1, all we're going to do is translate the words. So 40% would translate to 0.40, moving that decimal over twice. Of translates to multiplication. The what part, what number, what percent, what, anytime you see the word what, translates to our variable. Is translates to an equal sign, and then a whole number will stay a whole number. So that's how we can translate things. Translate our percent to a decimal, translate the word of to multiplication, translate the what part, what number, what percent into our variable. Is our equal sign, and 26 stays the same. So if I'm looking at this equation, just rewriting this equation in equation form, 0.40x equals 26, the way I solve for this is I will divide both sides by 0.40. And then we'll get x is equal to 26 divided by 0.4, and we get 65. And what I did was I did 26 divided by 0.40. That's what that means. So if I'm looking at the same statement, 40% of what number is 26? Now if we identify all the different pieces, we can plug them into this fraction. Is over of equals percent over 100. So I'm going to plug in is over of equals percent over 100. So the way this works is I have my 40%. So when I'm building my two fractions, I'm just going to match it up. I have 40% here, so I have 40% here. We'll always have the 100 underneath our percent. So I can put 40 over my 100, like so. Of what number? If it's a what number part and it says of x. So I don't know this number, so since it has of right next to it, that's my x, and it goes where the of goes. What number is the x? Of tells me where to place it in the denominator. Is 26. So there's my is 26. And then I'll have 26 like so. And now we can cross multiply and solve. So we'll cross multiply and then solve. So I have 100 times 26 would be 2,600 is equal to 40x. Divide both sides by 40, and we get x. We get 65 is equal to x. So we get the same value regardless of which method we choose. So just to refresh, this part is my percent piece. 40% is the percent of what number is my of piece. And since it's a what number, that's my x. What number would be the x? And it goes with the of, where that of goes. And the is 26 is my is piece, so 26 goes where the is goes. Then you cross multiply. 40x is equal to 2600. Divide both sides by 40 because we're solving for x. And we get 65 is equal to x. Same as here, x equals 65. I'm going to skip number 2 since I kind of spilled into it through the explanation. So let's see if we can do a couple more. So now I have what percent. So what percent will be my x? I'm just translating. Of is my multiplication. Whole numbers will stay whole numbers. Is my equal sign. And again, whole numbers stay whole numbers. So we have x times 25 equals 20, but we want to write it with our coefficient up front, so 25 will go out front, and we have to solve the problem 25x equals 20. To do that, we'll divide both sides by 25. So we get x equals 20 divided by 25 is 0.8. But we need to turn this into a percent, so I'll move my decimal twice to the right. So that would equal 80%. Oh, I said I wanted to skip number 2. Sorry about that. Let's do some more translating, practicing our translating. If you're liking the translation method, go ahead and keep practicing with this one. So we can have 9. Our whole number stays a whole number. Is, we translate that to our equal sign. A percent, we have to turn into our decimal. .45. Of is our multiplication. And what number is our x? So we're solving the equation 9 equals 0.45x. To solve this equation, we'll divide both sides by 0.45. So I'm going to divide both sides by 0.45. So 9 divided by 0.45 is equal to 20. And so 20 would be equal to x. And we're done with that problem. So if you're liking the translation method, go ahead and try 4 and 5 on your own. See if you can translate them and then solve for x. So pause here and try those on your own if you're liking the translation method. Okay. So what we're going to do now, let's go through these pretty quick. 50% changes to my 0.50. Of changes to multiplication. What number is my x? Is my equal sign, and then whole numbers stay whole numbers, so it stays at 3. And we are solving the equation 0.50x equals 3. So we'll divide both sides by 0.50. And we divide 3 by 0.50. We get that x is equal to 6. Translating this problem, we have what? That's our x. Is our equal sign. 5% translates to 0.05, moving that decimal twice. Of will translate to my multiplication sign, and my whole number 80 will stay a whole number. So we have to simplify this where it says x equals 0.05 times 80. X is already by itself, so I only have to simplify the size. So I go 0.05 times 80 is equal to 4, so x equals 4. We just have to do this multiplication, 0.05 times 80, and we get what x equals. We already have x isolated, so there's no division in this problem. We just have to simplify this right-hand side. Okay, so if you were more of the is over of type of person, let's try an example of that again using our is over of. So we'll use this model, is over of equals percent over 100. Let me copy the problem again. 9 is 45% of what number? So I have 9 is. So there's my is portion. My percent, 45%, that's my percent portion. And of what number is my of portion. And that's going to be our x, since we have what number, that's our x. So let's plug in our values into our is over of equals percent over 100. So let's set up our fractions, like so. Now we're just plugging in our values. My is number is 9, is goes in the numerator. My of is my x, so x goes in the denominator. And then my percent is 45, so I want to leave that as a percent when I'm doing it this way. And I plug it in like that. Then we'll cross multiply and simplify. So we'll cross multiply, so I have 45x is equal to 900. Divide both sides by 45, and we get x equals 20. So we're going to do that same model where we have is over of equals our percent number over 100. So let's copy the problem. 50% of what number is 3? %% is my percent. Of what number is my of, and that's my x with the what number. And then is 3 will be the is portion. We're plugging into our is over of equals percent over 100. So we'll build our two fractions. We know the denominator over here is going to be 100. Now we're just plugging in. My is 3. The of x. And the percent 50. Cross multiply and solve. 50x equals 300, divide by 50, and we get x equals 6. Same pattern, is over of equals percent over 100, cross multiply and solve. What is 5% of 80? So what is? This is my is, which is my x. The 5% is my percent. And the of 80 is my of. So let's set it up. We'll set up my fraction. Fraction equals fraction with 100 in the denominator. Now we are going to say my is over of, so is x, of is 80, and my percent is 5. Cross multiply and solve. 5 times 80 is 400, is equal to 100x. Divide both sides by 100, and we get 4 equals x. X equals 4, 4 equals x. So that's the two different methods. Remember, you just have to choose one of them, whichever one serves you best, whichever one you feel makes the most sense. And then just stick with that one. But thank you for watching this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.